Hello. Welcome to the show. How's everybody doing? How are you guys?
Good.
How was your week?
Good.
Good.
Good. Well, except my fridge died.
Did you try CPR?
I tried everything, Trevor. I swear I did. And, but the ghost of it lives on. But we actually went out and bought a fridge. There's money you never want to spend, like when you really didn't think that you had to. But anyway,
expensive.
Tell me about it. But you know what? It's a necessary thing, and it gets delivered next Saturday, which is good because a lot of people have to wait like a month or something. So,
why so long for the wait?
I don't know. I mean, who knows?
I don't do that. I don't play that game. It's like if they don't have it in stock, I don't buy it. If I can't take it home with me that day, not happening, because they'll say, "Oh yeah, it's coming next week," and then next week shows up and they're like, "Well, there was a problem. It'll be another 2 weeks," and then yeah. So
no, it's okay. You know what? They're a local company, and I don't think that they deliver every single day, so that could be part of the issue. But thankfully, we have a garage fridge. So everything went in there, but it's great, because now it's up and down and up and down and up and down. Everybody complains, but I really don't care. At least we have a fridge. So all good. But yeah, I didn't need that this week.
No. I bought a fridge last year, but I'll tell you something. You know what I did? How I bought it? You're going to laugh at me. So every year we turn in our phones, or you know what I mean? Like my son and I, we have it on, like his contract is up 1 year, I'm the next year. And we always have like brand new phones.
Wow.
So, mine will be done in like 2 years. His is it's 2 years, but every year you get a new. So we just keep trading them in. And if you take them to the right places, they give you gift cards for those phones.
Nice.
You see?
Yes.
Last year we had over $1,000 in gift cards.
Wow.
Thanks to my son's iPhone.
Right.
So I bought a fridge.
Oh my gosh.
So and I think 1 year I went and bought a treadmill and exercise bike and stuff so every year I have the advantage of getting brand new stuff.
Well, excusez-moi. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, you probably could have told Lynda this, a little earlier.
Well, if she had asked, I would have told her, right? Like, oh my God. No, but obviously you're paying for it because you've got the phone and you've got to pay off the phone through another company, right? So it's not like you're,
But they still gave you free gift cards, so it's like that's free money.
Absolutely.
Because I'm paying for my phones. I don't pay gift cards. So
yeah. But yeah, for me, and I also noticed that Costco is starting to do that too. So you get so much from Costco, gift cards from Costco. So that's another one to look at and stuff like that. It's just, kind of interesting. My week was actually not bad, except for the fact that we woke up and I found my storm door or screen door, whatever you call it. It was completely smashed to bits. And we opened
I saw that picture.
Yeah.
I saw the picture of that. Did you figure out what it was?
No, we don't know what I think might have happened. I could be 100% wrong. I think either somebody hit it with a BB gun because it was just a small little area where it radiated from. Like it wasn't like a big, fist or something like that. So I think it was either hit by a BB gun or it might have been a rock. Maybe when the lawn maintenance people.
That's more likely.
Yeah. And so that's what we're kind of thinking now. Like at first I was like, this neighborhood. But yeah, I think but they came and replaced it the next day because I live in a condo. So I own a condo. So at least I don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Like it's taken care of, thank God. But, it was a pain in the butt to pick up a million little tiny glass shards everywhere.
Oh,
So,
well, yeah, I mean, I saw your post and I thought, oh yeah, oh my God, there goes the neighborhood, that one of those things.
Well, it's true though, right? Like that's why I went to that place, because we never used to have people wheeling shopping carts full of, with their pants around their ankles,
right,
in our neighborhood.
Right.
Like,
isn't that a daily thing at Walmart? Oh, okay.
Well, it is, but I'm not a Walmart. So but now we see, people that are walking down the sidewalk, and they've got their shopping carts overloading, and they're peeking in our fucking vehicles, and the whole bit, and you're just like, oh my God, and we never used. This been this year. I remember one day I was going for a walk, and this guy on a bike decided that he was going to follow me, and I looked, and I was like, okay, and he kept yapping at me like, do you have money? Do you have money? Do you have money? That kind of thing. And then I looked, and he's dragging like a skipping rope or a rope, and it looked like it had a collar attached to it with this big, but it was just the collar that he was it was like him and his imaginary animal, his dog. So I was like,
they used to have those. They were like stiff wired leashes with the collar.
I remember those.
Like
yeah. Yeah. This one he just dragged. So I don't know what happened to the actual animal that was supposed to fit in the collar.
Yeah. I mean, no, that's not.
Yeah, I mean, I never know. Right? I don't know. But how are you, Trevor? How's everything going?
Oh, pretty good. So just getting ready for August. We've kind of got a little bit of a break with the ghost hunting and the Western Idaho Paranormal. We got some stuff starting up in September. We got more public investigations. We got a big one in October, and then in November we're going to be out in Port Gamble. Out in Washington, near Port Townsend. We're going to be out there for a convention. We're going to be teaching some classes and setting up our booth. So we're pretty excited about that. Yeah. So just living the dream. So I'm not sure whose dream it is, but we're living it. So.
You're living it. Good for you. So this week, I'm looking forward to this topic. This is a fun topic. When I was doing research on this, there was a lot of items that I didn't even realize were considered haunted or cursed. I never even actually had heard of them. So I thought that this was really interesting, but that's what we're going to be talking about today is haunted and cursed items and how and why they become haunted or cursed. So
I was just thinking in my head about, you remember that movie, The Mummy with Brendan Fraser?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a part where it's like, this place is cursed. It's like, you always say this is cursed and that is cursed.
Everything is cursed.
Everything is cursed.
Too funny. Well, saying that, I mean, yeah, cursed items have been a thing for centuries, really. It's definitely not a new thing. I mean, even the tomb of Tutankhamun at King Tut.
Yeah, King Tut's tomb. That's a crazy story.
That was very, very cursed. So, okay, here's my thing. Do you believe in it? First of all, let's start there. Do you believe in the curses?
Who's gonna start?
No,
I will.
I don't believe in them. I don't think that the curses are real. I think that it's a lot of people looking for it. Something happens to somebody, and it was this curse. It's just bad luck, this, that, and that's what they focus on. I don't know. The King Tut one is kind of weird, I guess, because there was 18 people, was it 18 people total that went in the first time, and out of all of them only one person survived? They
But
all
couldn't
died
that
under
have
weird
been like a
deaths.
disease or something that was inside of the tomb that created an illness of some sort? Like,
But they all died under kind of weird circumstances. It
Mhm.
wasn't just like they just, keeled over one day. There was just some weird stuff that, like, a series of unfortunate events that happened
so
to a
like
lot of
Final
them.
Destination kind of.
Right.
Yeah, some weird stuff. So, and I watched a thing today about there was a ring that this guy got from another place in Egypt. It was like this clay ring, and I can't remember what it's called, but he believes that it was some sort of talisman, and this is the one guy that survived opening King Tut's tomb, and he was wearing that ring, and he believes very much that that's what protected him. So
Kept
because, like,
it.
even after the original people went in, there were other people that went in and also had some weird stuff happen. But again, I mean, I don't know. People die. It happens. It's sad, but I don't know if it's due to any weird curse. I mean, I think curses get power from what you make of it. You believe in it, and that's what gives power to it, I suppose. I don't know. I've never been cursed, or maybe I am cursed. I don't know, and I just don't even realize it. But
Well, even the movie set from Poltergeist was
Right.
apparently supposed to be very cursed, right?
Yep.
And had several deaths. Although some people are trying to connect other deaths to that, like the old man in Poltergeist 2, and they're trying to blame that onto the first movie, which makes absolutely no sense because the guy was like 180 years old or something like that. He
There you
died.
go.
Like he was,
There you go.
he just died. Like it has nothing to do with the movie, right? But Heather O'Rourke and unfortunately I can't remember the other lady's name, the one that was killed by her stalker, her boyfriend. Yeah, maybe something like that there. But I don't know. What do you think, Lynda?
Well, first of all, I think that cursed is really just a word. It's sort of a way to describe maybe an item that has a lot of concentrated energy attached to it. And I think that, if somebody is truly fond of an object, or somebody really wants an object to kind of be only theirs forever and ever, I think that possibly they can use a lot of concentrated energy to protect it, or to use the intention within, that kind of atmosphere to protect it from harm or from invading fingers and eyes. So I really do think that you can protect item, and you can do that with concentrated energy. But I mean, to say that something is cursed, meaning, and this is the meaning that we've ascribed to it, that, if you touch it or interact with it in any way, that it's going to cause you harm, or that there's some sort of, evil entity or demonic. Don't you love that word, entity?
Oh, demons.
But I think cursed is just a word. I think that certain objects can be protected with concentrated energy. So whether, you believe that to be harmful, or whether you believe that to be otherwise, I would think would be up to you. That's sort of how I feel about it.
Okay.
It seems like that would be like, I would almost attribute that more to like a haunted item, though. Something that somebody loved so much that they didn't want to let it go. They wanted it forever and ever, and they somehow become attached to that. I don't know if that's the same thing, or we're talking semantics, or.
Well, I think it can be semantics, because usually when people use the word cursed, it sort of, the connotation is that it is evil or harmful in some way. But I mean, definitely, yeah, a haunted item could be considered cursed if, when it comes into your house, bad things start to happen because you've interacted with it. So yeah, it's just maybe semantics. I don't know. To use the word haunted or you use the word cursed, depending on, the context of it, or what your experience with that object is, right?
Right. When I think about haunted, I kind of think more on the human spirit, maybe perhaps, or, having more of a spirit like attached to it. Whereas when I think of cursed, for me, that's more of like literally a curse, like somebody placing a non-human or human entity not attached to it. Like it, you know what I mean? It's just like witchcraft. I want to say something like a witchcraft, or something like that. So that would be my distinction between the two of them. But it's interesting because when you said concentrated energy around somebody, I mean, technically that could also be praying, right? Because we get a lot of prayer circles, and or people will say send prayers around this person or this situation, and technically that is the same thing. It's just that the intention might have a more positive benefit to it.
Well, I think that's true. And I think you're right in that if a person uses concentrated energy to, let's say, protect an object, to surround that particular object, if they say, because it's all about intention, right? We always say it's about intention. If they specifically say anybody who touches this particular object will, I don't know, have harm befall them, then I guess that would be more cursed than anything else.
Right. Yeah. I was just reading the comments here, and so first of all, hi Sparky, and hi Brenda. But so Brenda is talking about the Dybbuk box. I think I'm saying that
actually,
right.
I was just going to bring that up because we
I have I have a picture of that right here. Let me just bring it up as soon as I scroll through my mess of pictures here. Hang on. I do have it somewhere. Oh, maybe I don't. Yes, I do. I had it.
Because I was kind of trying to figure that one out because, I mean, the Dybbuk, is supposedly an entity of some sort that attaches to a person and makes them do bad things, I guess. And then there's a way that you can seal that entity into a box. And as long as you keep the doors closed, it's supposed to stay there. If you open it, you can get out. So is that a cursed object or a haunted object at that point?
Right. Right. Well, I think everybody thinks that, or everybody believes, I think it's popular anyway, that a Dybbuk box is a cursed object, right? Because harm will befall the person who opens it up. And I mean, there's a lot of video and stuff on YouTube and other places that people will buy these things, and normally they're sealed with wax or whatever, and they'll take all the seals off and then have a camera rolling and things start to happen. I mean, how do you feel about all that stuff?
I think it's all I think it's mostly faked stuff, most likely. People do anything for clicks, right? The one that I was looking at today, yep, and that was the one that allegedly this was that particular box there was handed down from a Jewish lady that survived the Holocaust, and it told, I think it was her granddaughter, that there was a how do you pronounce it, a Dybbuk? How do you say it? Dybbuk.
Dybbuk. Yeah.
Dybbuk. Okay. Anyway, that there was one of those in there, and anyway, it went and eventually found its way to this one buyer, and he didn't believe much about it, but he started having these crazy dreams of like this old crazy lady that was attacking him at night, and he was getting bruises and scratches, and eventually he got kind of tired of it, so he I think he took it out and he buried it, and then eventually it got unearthed, and then it went to somebody else. Maybe it went to a museum. I can't. Anyway, it went to another person, and what was interesting about it is he was reporting the same thing about these dreams he was having of this crazy woman old woman that was attacking him while he was sleeping. And to me, I would put that in the category of a haunted item. Like there's actually a spiritual attachment to this box that's, that's kind of the way I would have interpreted that.
So I'm reading about it, or doing, like, as I was reading about it, and I have, some of it up here, and it says basically stories and folk tales have long been used to entertain people with sensation, blah, blah, blah. Even in modern times, new tales are being told and passed on through modern means. One such story is that of the famous Dybbuk box, now known as a hoax. The box was initially purchased in 2003 from a yard sale when the seller relisted it on eBay. He placed a carving inside and a stone. He also included a story on the listing about the box containing the spirit of a malicious Dybbuk, a malicious spirit from Jewish folklore. This story was passed down with the box from owner to owner, becoming a new internet legend. It wasn't until like the tall man, I guess, basically. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until 2021 that the original eBay lister admitted that he had made the entire thing up.
Surprise!
So, yeah, it's funny because I think that sometimes these legends, they do catch their own wind. And a lot of times, here's the thing. This is the interesting thing. We see this in, especially lately, like Hollywood, entertainment, the news. All you have to do is go, the sky is orange, and everybody's all like, oh, the sky's orange, yeah. And you're like, you guys are idiots. But it's true. Like, this is what happens. So to make up a story like this is very, very easy to do, right?
Oh,
All you have, look at the tall man, like I said, like the tall man coming out, and there's been a few of them that have been, created throughout the years.
Yeah, people want to believe it. People are looking for that exciting thing, right? And like, oh my goodness, this is crazy, and and unfortunately, whether it be social media or YouTube, people tend to take things at face value and not understand that it may not be real. That these things you can make this stuff look real, and it's just being Hollywooded up. It's people are doing this for entertainment. So you kind of have to take everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I think that there probably is something absolutely to it, in earlier years for sure. But yeah. I think that, it's probably very much like a cultural thing also, or a pagan, or religious, or whatever it is.
Even if you look at like ancient Japanese culture, Chinese culture, Egyptian culture, all that stuff, they all believe that evil entities and things like that could be sealed away. And
and a lot of times it's in vases too, like something like a vase,
exactly, or behind some sort of chanted phrase or something that's written down. There's all sorts of it seems like all cultures have something like that.
So this is one this is called Myrtle's Plantation Mirror, which I thought, again, kind of interesting, right? And I'll just read you a little bit on this one. Hang on. There's also Bela Lugosi's mirror, which I found really interesting also. But I chose this one. And so basically what it talks about is, it says, while the ancient South is renowned for its hospitality, it also has a dark history connected to plantations, superstition, and human exploitation, which we all obviously, is quite well known, right? One very famous plantation was named the Myrtles Plantation, with a rumored 10 murders occurring in the house. However, records only indicate one, that of William Winter. While the home itself is reputed to be haunted, the plantation mirror seems to be the one that people mostly focus on. And it says, hang on a second. It is rumored that Mirrors house their fair share of superstitions. Generally, people would cover mirrors with a cloth after someone's passing, but a mirror was overloaded on the Myrtle's plantation, apparently because of these 10 murders that occurred in the house. It is rumored that the uncovered mirror now holds the spirits of Sarah Woodruff and her 2 girls. While we know that they died of yellow fever, the legend is that they died from eating poisoned cake. So some are saying murder, some are saying, natural, whatever. But this is supposed to be quite a well-known, famous mirror. Here's the, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Whoops, messing up here. Apparently I don't know what I'm doing. But I mean, we've all heard of mirrors in the past. Like, mirrors are very famous, like whether it's for scrying or for somebody, to be trapped in the mirror or whatever it is. How do you guys feel about that? Like, have you any thoughts?
Well, I think that, up to a certain I don't remember the years, but for a long time, mirrors were made from mercury. And so in the mercury mirrors, they can hold energy. They can hold a charge of energy. There's a lot of places that have residual hauntings, that have the residual hauntings. And a lot of times one of those mirrors was present. So, could that be one of those mercury mirrors, and maybe that's causing some stuff to happen? I would say that it's relatively plausible. I look in the mirror and I'm not always impressed at what I see, but it's just me. So I haven't had any experiences other than that. So, I mean,
yeah, we had
funny enough, like when you think about it, even Snow White, it was the mirror, right? Who was
mirror on the wall.
Magic mirror on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, we had a case with a haunted mirror in a place called Queensville, which is just a bit south of where we are. And it actually was picked up by Paranormal Survivor, who actually covered that case. And that was really compelling. And there definitely was something attached to that mirror, which really made the family's life miserable. So mirrors can hold a lot of energy. And I mean, people have always thought that whatever was reflected in a mirror, there is some sort of alternate universe behind the mirror, right? I mean, that's right. Absolutely. People talk about that all the time. So, and I don't know, I mean, Kathy, you might remember there was a show called Romper Room. I remember as
yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
I was trying to think, and the mirror in the inside would go all swirly and pull that up.
Yes, and there were a couple of kids that I knew that were terrified because they really believed that Miss Wendy or whoever it was could actually see them, because she would hold up this mirror and say, "I see Barbara and Kathy and Trevor and Lynda." So people used to think, holy crap, this woman can actually see me. So they were terrified of who was looking at them through the mirror, which I think is fascinating. But anyway.
I remember that show. For some reason, was that a Canadian show? I keep thinking it was a Canadian show for some reason. I don't know why, but I
think it was.
I think it was.
I think it was.
Because we only had 3 channels back in the day, and so we got stuck with a lot of that.
I know.
Yeah.
A lot of that junk.
Yeah.
Our kids never would have survived our childhoods with it. You
oh my God!
Up, walk across the room to change the channel to the television. Or you remember the televisions? You actually had to they had the tuners on them. You kind of had to tune into the.
Yeah, the rowdy ears. What's funny though is that my parents' house, we never had to deal with that. I don't know why that was. I don't know if we had some sort of special TV or something or setup or whatever. But when I moved out and I had my own TV, I was constantly I had aluminum attached to the frickin' antennas, and it was like you pretty much got to stand there holding it and. putting it in place and the whole bit. So I didn't watch a whole lot of TV back when I moved out on my own because that was just useless. And some old VCR that, and it's like,
now those were cursed. I'm just saying, those VCRs were all cursed.
Huh? Right? So Sparky's asking, what do you think about the mirror reflecting into another mirror? Never-ending reflection could cause a portal or an opening. Well, I've never really thought about that. What do you guys think about that?
I've done it too many times and nothing's ever happened. So it just looks really cool.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I mean,
so you didn't get sucked into like a portal. Maybe you did.
Maybe I did. Maybe that's why I'm here. I don't know. Maybe I was there.
That's why you're stuck with us right now.
I'm so confused. I don't mind. So
I think
that's just me. But
huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think that mirrors are anything but that. I think they're just shiny pieces of glass. There's nothing behind them. But whatever.
Here's one that is very famous and we all know of. Would be, who is that?
Oh yeah.
Who's that?
I know the car's name's Little Bastard. James Dean. It's Little Bastard.
Little Bastard, yeah.
Little Bastard. Yep. So that is another one that's kind of interesting.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
So I'm just reading the, very quick.
Yeah, killed him.
Right on. But it says it's hard to get more iconic than James Dean and his silver sports car, the Porsche 500 Spider. Cars were some of the fastest cars at the time of their manufacturing, but they were also notoriously temperamental. They'd crumble like aluminum can in a crash, which is what happened to James Dean on his way to a car race in Salinas in 1955. James Dean's car was auctioned and sold in parts, but owners of these auto pieces have reported fires, car crashes, and mysterious injuries. What was left of the car still toured and had its share of mishaps along the way. However, after an exhibition in Miami, the towing van and James Dean's car disappeared in 1960. Interesting. Yeah.
I thought somebody else had owned it after him and was like restoring it or something, and it killed him too. Like it rolled on him or fell off the jacks, or I seem to remember that story.
Honestly, that I'm not sure of. I'd probably have to,
That might have been in the dimension I came from before I got sucked.
Well, you know what? It might have just been like, because it could have been like a supernatural episode, or maybe like, I think Blue Bloods did something on that as well, like the TV show, right? But maybe. Sparky says, I think I remember that too, Trevor, and then it went missing. So it very well could have been owned by somebody, but yeah, well, that's you. Okay, never mind. But yeah, that's you.
Yay, I finally made it on the show.
You did. But yeah, I thought that was kind of, because that's one of the more famous ones for sure. And I mean, everybody knows. And I feel like it's one of those haunted items that people don't sit there and go, oh, that was BS. Like they have more of a stronger belief in it. Like they don't argue about it. They don't mess with it. It's like, okay, yeah, we're just leaving it where it is. Yeah, it was cursed. Yeah, that was the end of that.
That's true. That and things like the Hope Diamond and things like that.
I got that too.
Yeah, and that's sort of everybody kind of agrees, right? There it is. Wow.
Yeah. So I don't really. Whoopsie. I didn't really understand. Do you know the history of the Hope Diamond?
I don't know the history of it, but I do remember as a kid hearing about it. And and anybody who's ever owned it, wore it, etc., it definitely, I mean, there's some pretty crappy things happen, like Marie Antoinette.
Yeah,
right.
There was like, so what I learned about what I saw about it is basically it came out of this location, and it is believed that somebody took the diamond off of the sacred statue,
Mm-hmm.
and it was one of the eyes of this statue,
Right.
and that, and now it's this cursed object because it was a sacred object, and it's been passed around to many people, and apparently everybody that's had it is just met with a lot of misfortune, anything from family members dying suddenly to bankruptcy to just all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah.
So from
now
what
it's in a museum and nobody touches it.
Right. So from what I understood, it was actually the it wasn't so much the eye as it was the forehead piece.
Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to find that right now. There's quite a few people that actually apparently died from it. It's believed to have originated in India, possibly from the coal mine in the Kagonda region. Said to have been brought to Europe in the 17th century, et cetera, but basically, yeah. And so now it is in the Smithsonian. Oh, yeah. There's been a lot of people that have owned it, like King Louis the 14th, Marie Antoinette, Francis Hope, and people that owned it, like obviously Marie Antoinette lost her head. Francis Hope went bankrupt. Princess Lambella torn to pieces by a French mob. That sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah.
Evelyn Walsh McLean experienced personal tragedies, including the death of her son and husband. So, yeah, but basically what they talk about here is apparently since it's been in the Smithsonian, it's pretty much dormant right now. Nobody, maybe because it's just sitting there, nobody's really owning it. The Smithsonian is like an institution more than one individual person. So it's not really in ownership.
Maybe the diamond just doesn't like really rich people. So give it to me and we'll as an experiment, we'll see if it messes.
As an experiment, are you willing to experiment with it?
Heck yeah, just bring it on. So I can hawk that thing for
you just want to cut it into
I can pay off my mortgage. It'll be great. So.
Oh,
yeah. As you're getting torn to pieces by a mob. Hello.
Well, we don't have a lot of French mobs in Idaho, so I think I'll be safe. It'll be fun.
It could be a chupacabra. So there.
Chupacabra. No,
Chupacabra.
We do have those.
It might be a chupacabra. Another one.
That's one of them. The Hope Diamond. People are allowed to visit the Hope Diamond because it's encased in a case. So again, it's in an environment that is ostensibly protected so that people will not be harmed. That's kind of interesting, right?
Very similar to the most famous one, Miss Annabelle.
Exactly.
Right.
So Brenda just asked a question that I kind of like too, because that's kind of what we talk about, or that I was thinking about as well. It's like, I mean, do you actually have to come into physical contact with this stuff? And I believe the answer is no, personally. And I will give you a really good example of why. Robert the Doll. So Robert the Doll.
I got that one too.
Robert the Doll. I mean, I think Annabelle's a little bit more famous because there's a movie about Annabelle, but Robert the Doll is equally as active, I guess. I've never met him, but so there was a lot of stuff that happened with him. He just moves around and giggles, and he's kind of mischievous. He hasn't, like, with his owner and stuff, wasn't really like evil. I would guess, but since he's been locked up in his little box, people come by and they speak bad about his previous owner or anything like that, that can cause some bad things to happen to you. And then most famously, if you take a photo of the doll without asking permission, allegedly something bad can happen to you there. So, which is kind of silly. And obviously it happens because if you look at the picture, I don't know if you have, I don't know if you can see it, but on the back wall of Robert's case, there's all these letters that they've put up there. And they're
They've
from
got to
people.
send an apology to them.
Yeah,
right?
that has had all this misfortune happen after taking a picture of him, and they're basing, what is that?
I don't know.
That's a spam.
I accidentally pressed on that. Sorry, guys.
That's a spam.
That was a spam. We're getting rid of that.
We're popular. We're popular enough to have spam. But you know, so nobody's had, anyway, my point is nobody had physical contact with that. So I think that yeah, I think people, especially if you're open to it, can definitely have your energy mixed with something that's not good, and have that affect you for sure.
This is a good point. Well, how would anyone react if you're in a case and shown like a clown on display? True enough, right? You know?
Yeah.
First, but I think too is that from what I understand, is it's not so much that you have to actually, you don't actually have to touch them. It is the mingling of the energy. So like, right. I think that it was Lorraine that said, don't look in the doll's eyes, don't touch it, don't, interact with it. Right. Just let it be, kind of thing.
Right. And that's what they talk about. I've seen videos and they talk about, the dangers of some of cursed objects and things like that being taken around the country and shown to people and stuff like that, because real, I mean, if they're real and people are open to it, that kind of thing, then it's going to affect them whether you touch it or not. If they're not real and people are still, I don't know, sensitive to that subject, or just open to that and just really believe in that stuff, that can also affect people too, adversely. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, I'm not afraid of any of that stuff. Like the Annabelle doll does not frighten me whatsoever. Robert the doll does not frighten me whatsoever. Dybbuk boxes, whatever. But I'm also not afraid of grizzly bears, and I'm not going to go and poke one in the eye, So you can have a respect for them, right? Respect for what they are and what they could potentially do. Right. Yeah. And be safe. That's all you got to do. So.
Yeah. Treat it with respect, treat the legend even with respect, and then just, let it be, whether you're a full believer or not a believer. I found this one interesting too. The Terracotta Army.
Oh yeah. That's super cool.
Has anyone heard?
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to read what it says here. Sites where bodies were buried are notorious as magnets for hauntings. Allegedly, the location of the Terracotta Army is one such place. Approximately 6,000 to 8,000 life-size statues reside in the Terracotta Army, where there has been said that the artisans were buried with their work. While the claim cannot be proven, it is speculated that those who worked on the army and surrounding tomb were not allowed to leave, so that no one would know its location. The chamber was only officially discovered in 1974. So they did do a great job of hiding the location, apparently.
Yeah, they did.
Construction began in 246 BCE. Unfortunately, the 7 farmers who first found the location fell on hard times, only fueling tales of the curse of the Terracotta Army. 3 of the 7 men died untimely deaths, while the other 4 men received nothing for their discovery. Instead, the land was bought from them and the village was made for gift shops and tourists. So
it sounds like a bad business decision as opposed to a curse, but
right, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but an amazing find, regardless. I mean, what an amazing! I would love to see that. That just.
Can you imagine if you're digging and then all of a sudden you find because it's going to start off with 1, and you're probably like, what the hell is this, right? And then you keep digging, and then you're like, wow, this is. And then it just keeps going and going. I mean.
Right.
Incredible. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, a lot of times that's what happens when somebody finds something like that, like, Tutankhamun, that whole tomb, that whole story. Um,
Absolutely.
when they find something, that's when all of a sudden, the poo-poo hits the big fan because something happens. Something happens. And that's when everybody goes, okay, so it's got to be cursed. But I
But do
mean,
you
Right.
think that a lot of it is human greed, really, too, right? Like, in this case, for instance, that's a huge discovery. So it's not so much that they fell on maybe hard times. It's probably the fact that some corporation came in and said, this is ours, or
Well, it's
whatever.
like you said in the story that the farmers decided to sell their land off to these people and they put up gift shops. And they
Yeah,
probably thought they were getting a good deal at the time. And well, no land
absolutely.
equals no farm, and no farm equals no money. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. I mean, I suppose you could set up your own little gift shop and have tourists in, but at the time you're not really thinking about that. You're just going, "Oh, okay, I'm going to take your X amount of dollars," and
well, and then
you can't do anything.
I kind of wonder, like, so if I'm digging something up in my backyard and I unearth some Native American totem or statue or something like that, right?
right.
Is that I'm not going to get to keep it, even though it's on my property, right? It's
Yeah.
not, because they're going to have I don't know, some archaeological survey or somebody's going to swoop in and be like, thank you, that's ours now. So,
Absolutely, yeah. Or it's going to be
but-
claimed like a museum piece or
Yeah.
cultural or historical,
so
whatever.
when I do find it, I'm going to put a curse on that thing, and then they're going to suffer the consequences when they take it. That's
Oh
There you
my
go.
gosh.
as soon as I figure out how to do it, it's going to happen.
I can just imagine Trevor in the backyard with like what do they call that? Those for picking up metal detector
The metal detector.
sniffer
I have
dog.
one.
Sniffer dogs
Yeah.
are out there like looking for
Dowsing
human
rods.
beings.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dowsing rods.
Oh, see, Sparky says many of the Egyptian deaths from the tombs were from bacteria in the tomb that fueled the fire of the curse.
I've heard that as well. Yeah.
But
I've
it
heard
still
that.
doesn't
I
explain
don't know
what
if it would
killed
count for all of
the
them.
people,
No.
explorers. Yeah.
But
Right.
Some of them were
here's the
killed in
thing,
car X
too.
fires. There was car X fires, strokes,
Right.
heart attacks. There was a whole mess of.
But if you
stuff
think
that was-
about it, like, our mind plays amazing tricks on us. So if
100%.
half of your expedition party drops dead because of bacteria or lung infections or whatever, you're already going to have that in your head.
Yep.
That this is blah blah blah, right? It's cursed. So
Right.
so you're walking around on eggshells already. You're
Yep.
not just living your life. Like you're
Right.
like, that's behind this corner. And when you're living like that, it's inevitable. Like you're going to create something. So
That's
Well,
really
we see it all the time in investigations and in claims in people's homes where it's like it's just mass hysteria. One person,
absolutely.
something just touched me, and then somebody's like, oh wait, something just touched me too, and then it just goes on and on and on and on, and then pretty soon it's just So I think a lot of it is that as well. Kathy, is what you're alluding to. It's just like, well, this person died, and then this person died, so maybe I'm cursed too. Now I'm going to die, and then inevitably they do something stupid, and then they die. So.
Well, that's true. I mean, you're right. It's expectation. I mean, oh my gosh, eons ago, I don't even remember how long ago, I worked on a case, and it was crazy because this girl had called to say that she had bought a haunted doll, a cursed doll. One of those. And I remember saying, well, how do you know it's cursed? Well, there was something safety pinned to it, a little note that said, you know, whoever buys me from now, whatever, from henceforth shall be cursed, kind of thing. And then, of course, she went to tell me about all of these things that happened. Like, well, when I bought it, I didn't see the safety pin. And then I saw the safety pin. Oh, here you go. And then what happened was she lost her purse, you know, she lost her shoe, somebody in her family died. So she, of course, ascribed all of those things to this haunted doll. So again, it's, you know, the self-fulfilling prophecy or something. It's a little ridiculous, but.
Well, what sounds better? I was clumsy and I tripped down the stairs, or I was pushed by an evil spirit.
Right.
You know, so, you know, but so thinking about like the Annabelle doll, Robert the doll, some of these different objects that we talked about, why do these entities attach themselves to these things? What's going on there? Why do that?
Good question. Well, I think in some cases, there are entities that attach themselves to, for instance, dolls and inanimate objects because they have an affinity for that particular object. A, could be. B, it's a way in, especially if it's a doll and that belongs to a child. An entity may wish to communicate with either the child or the family through something that the child trusts. So it could very well be something like that. But in a lot of cases, and we've dealt with that in our own investigations, I'm sure you all have as well, they will attach to objects that they were particularly fond of. And then, of course, communicate through that particular object, whether it's moved around or if it's given to the wrong person or if it's put in the wrong place, or I don't know. What do you think, Trevor?
Well, that's just it. You know, that's kind of a puzzle to me because, I mean, you think about entities, spirits, I don't care if we're talking, you know, demons or whatever. I mean, they're non-corporeal, so they should be able to go in and out of places without any real issue, I would think. You know, unless there's somebody that's placed some sort of, you know, blessing on a location, or they've been able to tune into their spirit guardians, and they've been placed their guardian angels around and things like that. I've heard stories about that. You know, it's a mystery to me as far as why they would do that. Because then, like, if they're attached to that item, and it seems like if you're stuck to it, then you're stuck. You're kind of subject to wherever that thing goes, and then eventually you end up behind a glass box, and people come by and take pictures of you all day long.
But do you think that people really have foresight in a lot of these cases? You know what I mean? Like, you know, buying a doll or something like that, and you think about it, and it's like, oh, this is so cool to have at the moment, you know, but without thinking really about the, you know, the implications of it later on down the line, or whatever it is. Like, I don't think a lot of people put a lot of thought into it, which is unfortunate. And maybe we should, like, maybe we should start, you know, thinking about these things. Like, what am I purchasing? Oh, this is claiming to be, well, I mean, maybe it's not. Chances are it's probably not, you know, haunted or whatever. But at the same degree, you have two choices, right? One, you have to pass it off on to somebody else and give somebody else, like, some sort of negative energy or whatever, or you're lying to them at the fact that it does have some sort of something attached or whatever, or, you know, you kind of got to live with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and I think that a lot of people don't put thought into it. It's kind of like a puppy. Like, people buy puppies and they don't think about what they're going to do with the puppy in 5 years when they move into an apartment that doesn't allow, you know, fucking animals, right? Like, people are irresponsible.
Yeah. And we tell our guests, I mean, that's one of our rules when we sit down with people and we go on our public investigations, like, don't take souvenirs, you know, don't peel paint chips off the wall and put them in your pocket. Don't, you know, take anything that belongs here, because we don't know what's haunted and what's not. We don't know, you know, what's attached to what. So, and you could be bringing something home with you that you're not going to like. You know, and hopefully people take that to heart. One, it's kind of illegal to, and you know, it's kind of vandalism when you doing stuff to places like that. But and that thieving is never good. So if they do steal something, I hope it is cursed. But the yeah. So, but you know, yeah, and that's just it. People want to have something to talk to their friends about, and you know, and people want to believe that things are haunted, and you know, that they got some story to tell, you know, so they can have their 5 minutes of fame. I remember seeing on
like being haunted though, right? It's like being haunted, like some of the houses that we deal with. You know, I mean, you could explain, you know, 10 ways to the moon, you know, that okay, it's literally like your screen door, or you have a window open in your bathroom, and this is why things are flying off the shelf. And people will not listen. They are going to.
It's a light flare. It's a light flare. It's dust. It's dust. It's not
the coffee cup flew across the room when it's actually like condensation on the coffee table. You know what I mean?
Like Ozzy Osbourne used to say all the time, it's ball lightning. It's ball lightning. Remember that? Ball lightning. That's what it is. But you know what, though? A lot of times, and that's why people have to be really careful. I mean, what they're buying at yard sales, or, you know, it's out of somebody's attic or whatever. It's just be really careful and really sense what you're buying, because a lot of people do not want to disclose that, you know, something doesn't make them feel great, or that something might be attached to something, that something is not good. I mean, for example, you know, I mean, I know somebody married my ex, but I didn't call them and warn them about him, you know.
we at that point,
well, it's like trying to get
across their forehead.
Yeah,
like the
it's trying to get rid of
letter.
that bad employee, right? It's that bad employee when the people call for you know, a reference. Yeah. Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah, you
take them. You are so lucky that they want to work for you. Yeah, go. You know?
Right.
Yeah. But the thing is too, is that we got, and again, I go back to a house is only 4 walls. Right. And this, you know, I say this a lot, but it's so true. A house is only 4 walls. A building is only 4 walls, no matter how big it is, no matter how large it is. So what energy that we are putting into the house or the building or the construction, whatever it is 4 walls. So it essentially is a trapped type of energy. So if this object, no matter what it is, maybe it started off perfectly innocent, but it's trapping, especially if it's porous. So like, let's say, for instance, ceramic, right, is very porous. Limestone is extremely porous. There's a lot of porous type of objects or materials that are out there. Even wood and lumber is a very porous material. So when you think about it, if you're throwing, you know, 100, like all this negative energy into it in the home, it might possibly give off that type of thing. Same though with somebody being sick in the house. So like a lot of people, again, don't think about it, because let's say there's a lot of illness in the house, germs are flying all over the place. We don't think about taking something like wood home and treating it or taking care of it. But meanwhile, there are spores that are possibly in that object that can create an illness and a sickness.
Makes sense.
Yeah, crystals and gemstones, exactly. Like that's exactly it. Like they're porous materials.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. What is true? I spend a minute with it to see if I get an off feeling. It is rare. Yeah, well, that's just, I don't think it's a common thing either, but I do feel that it can absolutely happen, you know, if you, especially if it's, think about it. Let's say it's a souvenir from a home that had a lot of, you know, maybe there was a war on that land at some point in time, right? Maybe, you know, there was a lot of death, or maybe there was a lot of sickness, or maybe there was a lot of, and that item is passed down generation. And somebody's like, I don't have room for this vase anymore. You know, we're getting rid of it. Right. So it's something that we definitely have to think about, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Before we take it and stick it in our kid's bed or post it in the living room or whatever.
Go to a yard sale. If you get a creepy vibe from it, don't buy it. But if it's calling to you, also don't buy it. If
it's calling to you, I think that's a good time to just run.
Yeah.
If it's like, it's just like, you're just like zeroed in on it, you got to have it. At least that's, when there was a boat one time that I just had to have. My wife was, she probably saved me from a cursed object.
Or from having fun, whichever.
Now I gotta believe she was saving me for a cursed object. That's
that would actually be much better for the marriage, I'm thinking. Yes. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate it. And, please do like, subscribe, share as much as possible. And, we'll see you next week. And again, thanks so much, everyone.